Here's a quick breakdown of the Jonathan Majors trial.
In the split verdict, he was found not guilty of one charge of assault and one charge of harassment. Specifically, he was found guilty of injuring Grace's fingers while trying to pry her fingers off of his cell phone unintentionally, and was also found guilty of harassment by picking Grace up and putting her back inside the vehicle when he was trying to run away from her. Grace claims that
Grace had her head leaning on Jonathan's shoulder when she sees a text message come across his phone from a woman saying, "I wish that I was kissing you." Angered by this, she snatches his phone, turns away, and he then attempts to get his phone back. She claims that he's leaned onto her, he's grabbing her, and that she feels him take her arm, twist it, and then bop her on the head, basically. And
Grace admitted in text messages that the whole injury to her finger occurred while she was trying to take his phone without his permission. In addition, the driver, who was actually called as the prosecution's witness, confirmed Jonathan Majors' version of the events. The driver stated that she hit him, and then clarified that the driver was driving, looking forward, but based on the sounds and based on what he heard going on, it was his understanding that she attacked Jonathan.
And then Jonathan, as they're driving down the street, tells the driver to stop the vehicle so he can get out. We see the video of Jonathan get out. As he's getting out and running, Jonathan takes refuge in a hotel because the defense claimed that she had then hit him in the head and bloodied him. He stayed in the hotel all night. Now, as Jonathan is staying in his hotel room, Grace actually meets some strangers on the street and convinces them to join her for a night of partying at the club. So she doesn't go to the hospital, but she does go to a nightclub. She then treats her new stranger friends to drinks of champagne, all on Jonathan's credit card. The case was actually going along really well for Jonathan until these text messages from a prior event in London 6 months beforehand became admitted into evidence. While Jonathan's lawyer was questioning Grace, the lawyer asked, "Did Jonathan ever discourage you from seeking medical treatment?" The lawyer was referring to the New York incident, but Grace answered yes. Therefore, the lawyer used that response to try to paint Grace as a liar. This then opened the door and allowed the prosecutors to get these text messages in to show that Grace wasn't a liar. She was just referring to the London incident.
And the text seemed to acknowledge that Jonathan got physical in the past.
The evidence also revealed that it was Jonathan, not Grace, that called 911. The next morning, after Grace's night out clubbing, Jonathan comes back to his home and sees that Grace is passed out, pantsless, in the closet. He then decides to call 911, but when the police come and they examine Grace, they take Jonathan to jail. Grace then sends him a text message admitting to injuring her own finger through taking his phone, and states that she will help him to make sure that this goes away. But that was the last day he ever talked to her as his girlfriend. He never took her back. That was the end of the relationship and the end of Grace helping him make it go away. In the end, it seems that this case really turned on the video of Jonathan picking Grace up and putting her back into the SUV, as well as those text messages implying that there was a prior incident of abuse. Jonathan will likely appeal this based on the admissibility of those text messages, but at this point, the damage here is done. What would you do if you were on the jury?
Follow Girl, Is That Legal on YouTube for more breakdowns.